You kind of nice extended deal.
Very excited to be home. I think it's my job to worry, so I think to some degree now I worry that we're going to relax too much, that we're back at home. But really, really impressed with what we've been able to do on the road. I looked at that schedule and thought, holy cow, we'll be lucky if we only get a few losses. So for them to be able to be that mentally tough, each time they kind of impress me with their preparation, how they're ready to go. I thought this weekend they really followed game plan and did a nice job. So hopefully they'll do that again this weekend. I think this is arguably our toughest weekend. Both Butler and Xavier are very good teams, and if we don't play well, we'll lose.
You on the streak you've been having, you haven't even been tested to 5 yet. Obviously. What is it with the Killers think to put teams away? Because you're playing with that game set 5 urgency earlier.
I've been trying to figure that out. I think, why are we, first of all, I think they're pretty good at, if they lose a point or two, bouncing back, that they don't mentally fall apart. And I think volleyball is a game that sometimes you can fall apart for a game and then rebound, and they've done a pretty good job of not giving up runs. I think, we've got good offensive parity, but I think defensively we're just solid. I think we've got a solid block all over the place. Even if we don't get ace blocks, even though I think our blocking's really improved, we get a lot of good touches, and we're pretty good behind it. So, I think we're solid in every aspect of the game. I think our serving has really improved this year, so we're putting pressure on some teams, earning a couple points here or there, getting teams out of system. But I don't know. I've been trying to figure out why we have been able to not drop a game, what's different this year than past years, and I haven't quite figured it out, but I like it, and I hope it continues. But I think they're a really mature group. I think a lot of it's mental.
You're close, you're kind of pushing up to that RPI hosting, you're close, but not there yet. Do you think about that at all? Obviously, you can't really think about that when you're preparing for matches, but given the benefits of winning, you got to keep winning, right?
We do talk about it. We don't talk about top 25 rankings and things along those lines, but we do talk about our RPI and what has to happen for us to be in the mix to host. And, the fact is we have to keep winning, like you said. And I don't mean that in a pressure type of way, but I think they're mature and they understand, if you drop a stupid match that you're going to look back and say, gosh, I wish we'd been more prepared on October 15th. Those are moments that you can't have back. So we talk a lot about the importance of each match. We say a lot, and I believe it, the most important match of the season is Friday night, and then it'll be Sunday, and that's kind of our approach to each match.
What is your RPI right now, and can it get, how much higher do you think you can get?
Well, I think we're 20 right now. Last year, I think Rob had put out that we were 23 at this point last year, and we ended up at selection show at 15. So, a lot of it will be determined based on what we do, but a lot of it is based on what our opponents do. Our league, Pablo, which is another ranking system, is quite a bit higher this year than last year. So we feel good about what the Big East is doing as a league. But what our non-conference opponents do, there's so much that is way above my head to go into it. But what we can control is we have to win.
What did you learn about the first matchup with Butler as far as how you guys match up with each other?
Butler's, I think, one of the toughest teams to play in the league. They're really unorthodox, really active setter that's different than the way that our setter's active, just throws the ball around. They do a lot of tipping and throwing of the ball. And then they've got one of the best players in the league in Anna Logan on the outside. And she just is a finesse player. I was watching them today against us, and her first 5 kills, one was to the corner, one was to the other corner, one was a hard angle shot, one was a roll shot, and one was a tip. I mean, that's a pretty well put together athlete that they can, kind of throw it around. So it's different than a power game. We're going to see more power against Xavier on Sunday, but just really a well-trained and, again, unorthodox type of team, so they're tough to play.
Now they're also trying to, only 4 teams made the conference tournament, but they're on the outside looking in right now, and they host it. I imagine they're going to come in with quite an edge here.
Yeah, they're playing for their life right now, and I know, when you're hosting the conference tournament, as we were last year, there's a lot of pressure, especially over Thanksgiving. You've got all these people working, so I know that they really want to make a run these last 3 weeks to get in. So, and they're a well-coached team. They're a young team. I know they're still buying in. They lost a heartbreaker to Xavier, who was third last week, 15-13 in the fifth, and played really a good match. So, we'll need to be ready for sure.
Go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs, go.
We definitely have our mindset, like, after every single set, we're like, all right, we got to do better. Like, the team's going to come back. So even though if we haven't, like, gone to a 5-set match yet, I think, like, we're still acting like if we were to be able to go to a 5-set match, we would perform the same no matter what.
What about coming back? I mean, you've been on the road, seems like almost every weekend. Well, how nice is it to have a home stretch here?
Yeah, it's definitely nice being finally back, like, being on our home court, and, like, we'll be able to have all of our fans. And I know the entire team is ecstatic about being back this weekend and the next 3 weekends. Yeah.
How many times have you heard one match at a time this year, do you think?
Every single game. Like, every single game before the game, we're like, biggest game of the season. So we just take every single game one at a time and take every single game serious and think of it as the biggest game of the season.
I know the coaching staff thinks Butler is one of those teams that is a sneaky, tricky matchup for you guys based on their style of play. What, I guess, from playing them one time, what do you think is the things that they do that maybe can throw you guys off?
I think if they get us out of system, or if we aren't playing to our best ability and they're in system all the time, that's definitely when we're put to the test. But as long as we control our side and try and keep them out of system as much as we can, like, we'll be able to continue and, like, control the match.
I guess when you played there, you know, that's the side of the Big East tournament. What did you, especially for a freshman, what did you take away from, you know, that environment, knowing that, you know, that's probably where you're going to play for a title?
Yeah, definitely, like, the environment was awesome. Like, the court setup is amazing. So I think definitely, like, when we go back there for the Big East tournament, like, we'll be calm and cool and collected, and it'll be fine. And it was a good experience for the first time and sweeping them. So I think we'll be good when we go back.